Hello, Leslie here from Message in a Fold, and I have a story to relate to you. Joe does all the cooking for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and he does a really good job. The first year that we were married, and he loves to tell this story on me, so I'm going to go right on ahead and tell you the story. I've never cooked the Thanksgiving meal. Never. I never had to do it. I'm a distrustful person. And I'm kind of, unfortunately, a bit of a control freak. So when things kind of don't go my way, then I am on high alert. Joe said, "For Thanksgiving, why don't you make pies?" And I said, "Yes, I can do that." He says, "And I'll do everything else." And I said, "Okay." Joe's telling me, I'm going to make turkey. I'm going to make dressing. I'm going to make cranberry sauce. I'm going to make stuffed celery. And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "It's a dozen," and this is his words, "it's a dozen egg yolks and vinegar and sugar and Colby cheese." Joe has bought all of the stuff that he needs. 5 giant loaves of bread. There are bread slices that are laying out on every flat surface that there is available. They were all on cookie sheets and anything that, plates and platters and anything that Joe could get them on. And the kids were just teens and preteens at the time, so we had a lot of in and out going on. So when the kids were making their breakfast and these bread slices were in the way, then they would, of course, pick them up, lay them on top of the other ones. Well, that didn't allow the bread to dry properly, so there was a little bit of noise that accompanied that. Now me, never having done this, seeing bread strewn throughout the entire kitchen was unsettling, to say the least. And I mean, I had to do the regular normal cooking for a family of 7, and I needed counter space, and I needed dishes to put on the table. I needed serving dishes, and they are all occupied with slices of bread drying. So I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to work. This is going to be awful. What am I going to do if he screws up? I don't know how to make stuffing. I've never made it. I don't know what goes in it. But evidently there's a lot of bread that goes in it that has to be dried out. Oh, mercy. There was not a single, on top of the microwave, on top of the refrigerator, all of the counters, on top of the toaster, on top of the crock pot, on top of anything that would support a vessel to allow the bread to dry. So anyway, he's going to make mashed potatoes. He's going to make sweet potatoes. He's going to do a vegetable, and then he's going to make his famous coleslaw, which has heavy whipping cream whipped up to stiff peaks with sugar added and poured over the cabbage. And I'm thinking, wow, that's, okay, that's already 2 disasters in the making. The egg yolks with sugar and vinegar, and now the coleslaw with whipping cream and sugar. So, the morning arrives. He's got this giant bowl, great big huge metal bowl, and now the breadcrumbs are slowly starting to make their way over to the counter and into the big bowl where he's breaking them up. Well, he spent the morning chopping up onions. A ton of onions and celery. The turkey is in the sink, covered in water, and it is finishing the thawing out. And so I said, do you want some help? No, he says, I've got this. And I'm thinking, oh, Lord, help me. He said, when are you going to start on the pies? Oh, I'll start on them in a minute. So that minute was all day long. Going, the kids are coming in and out, and they're asking, when are we going to have dinner? When are we going to eat? Dad, are you going to make? Dad, are you going to make this? I love that stuff. And so he would tell them, yes, he would. And I'm quietly watching his children all regale him with the foods that they love that he makes at Thanksgiving time. That should have been clue number one for me. But so he's going along making his stuffing. The turkey has thawed out enough that he could get the giblet bag out. And he said, I need a pot with some water in it. How much water? Just almost fill it up. So he pulls this bag out of the turkey, and I said, what is that? See, America's Funniest Home Videos. So he said, these are the giblets and the neck, and they need to simmer for quite a long time because I'm going to use the water in the stuffing. What? Okay. So he's got this giant bowl filled with all of this dry breadcrumb stuff. There's still cookie tins and plates and stuff of bread all over. He says, before you do any of the eggs for the stuffing, I need you to separate a dozen eggs. The hunt was on for an available 2 vessels, one for the egg whites and one for the egg yolks. So anyway, I get them separated. He brings out a double boiler, which I had only seen like on television. I've never owned one, so I didn't know how they work. He puts water in it, in the bottom, puts it on another burner, and cranks it up to high. And now the water is starting to boil. So he goes and dumps the egg yolks into the pan and stirs them around so that they don't become scrambled eggs. And he says, I need the vinegar and the sugar. So I gave him the measuring cups. Once the eggs are to a certain point, then he puts in the sugar and he puts in the vinegar and he keeps stirring it and stirring it. And the egg yolks have to set to a gelatinous thing. So it has to boil down, has to cook down, reduce, that's the word. It has to reduce until it's a thick stuff. So he says, I need 2 pounds of Colby cheese shredded. So I'm over shredding the Colby cheese up for this. I'm not quite so sure about this idea with the egg yolks and the sugar and the vinegar. And so now it's time to get the bird ready and get it stuffed and prepped and everything. So the stuffing is finally done. The turkey has been stuffed and it is waiting to go into the oven. That part now is ready to cook for a long time. So now the egg yolks are at the consistency that he needs to let the egg yolk mixture cool down enough that he can put some of the Colby cheese in there and mix it around without the cheese melting all over. So he finds it successful, says that that's the way that it's supposed to be. So now he takes a stick of celery about that long and smears some of the egg stuff in it and says, here, taste this. And okay, I'll try it. So I try it. It is fabulous. It's really great stuff. And so I thought, okay, hey, things are going pretty good so far. When are you going to start the pies? I can't now because the oven is full of the turkey and soon to be the stuffing and the sweet potatoes and I don't know what all else. So I got out of making pies then. That was our very first Thanksgiving together. My contribution was nothing but trouble. So when Christmas came and he told me that he was going to do it all over again, then I knew, okay, all right, things will be fine. This time I will make the pies, and I did. So this Thanksgiving, 25 years later, and Joe's arthritis is making it really difficult for him to stand for long periods of time. So on Tuesday, I chopped up all of the onions ahead of time, got the celery prepared, the little sticks for the celery stuffing. I chopped up all of the rest of the celery for the stuffing. I separated a dozen eggs so his yolks would be ready, yolks. And with the egg whites, I made an angel food cake. And then I used my food processor, which I haven't used in forever, and grated up all of the cheese for the egg stuff. Man, that was fast and that was fabulous. And let's see, I can't remember what else I did. We bought some already dried bread slices from the grocery store, so I didn't have to have breadcrumbs strewn all over the kitchen again, or in the oven slowly drying out overnight. So that was a good thing. They were bagged and they were ready to go. And let's see, so I knew the things that he was going to be needing, having been at his shoulder all these years. So I made sure that whatever it was that he needed help with. So Thanksgiving this year went really well. Okay, so this is Leslie from Message in a Fold saying, now you know my dirty secret. And I hope you have a fabulous Christmas holiday. There'll be more. There will be more. All right. Bye.